Hello, and welcome to another sexy episode of Please Me, the podcast that aims to educate, empower, and liberate by destigmatizing conversations about sex. I genuinely hope that listeners can take the information that we discuss here and start creating those important and life-changing conversations with their friends, partners, and lovers. As I have said before, our bodies were built for pleasure, and why not explore all of the delicious possibilities that life has to offer us? Today's episode is all about fluids. Sexual fluids, that is. More specifically, women's sexual fluids. And there are definitely some misconceptions regarding lady juices that I want to cover. I personally think it is important for all of us to understand our bodies inside and out so that we can enjoy the full potential and pleasure of sex, and we can all reach that unencumbered orgasm. So let's start with the basics and talk about vaginal fluids. Vaginal lubrication is produced by the cervix deeper inside the vagina and the Bartholin's glands at the entry of the vagina, as well as, listen to this, blood plasma that seeps through the walls of the vagina when there's more blood flowing and when the woman gets aroused. This can happen just from kissing and loving on those non-erogenous zones, or it can happen with touch, massaging the vulva and clitoris, foreplay, and oral sex. Vaginal fluids are always present to some extent, but with arousal, more fluids are produced to allow the woman's body to become ready for sexual activity, and the vagina and labia gets a slippery feeling when a woman is aroused and ready for penetration. Remember, though, that 95% of women require clitoral stimulation in order to orgasm, so don't forget to give the vulva and clitoris lots of attention and stimulation to get your lady juices flowing. When it comes to orgasms, it takes most men about 5 to 7 minutes to orgasm with penetration, and women take up to 25 minutes or more to orgasm. So women will require a lot more stimulation and touching when it comes to coupled sex, especially externally on or around the clitoris. Remember, the clitoris is synonymous with the man's penis, and it gets engorged and filled with blood, as does the penis. So it must be properly stimulated before penetration. The clitoris is an extensive structure that is both internal and external, and is almost the size of a man's penis. Many women feel pain with sex, and it is often because they are not sufficiently aroused before penetration occurs. The skin inside and out must be properly lubricated before penetration occurs to avoid tears of the skin or abrasions from friction without lubrication. So, what about an orgasm, or the big O? When a woman orgasms, the body and mind become one, and the woman feels sensations of pulsing and muscle contractions inside the vaginal walls, anus, and the pelvic floor muscles that are accompanied by oh so good intense pleasure. It can last just a few seconds, or it can go on for a minute or more. Women also have the incredible ability to have multiple orgasms, and waves of pleasure can be accomplished if a woman is sufficiently aroused and has the right type of stimulation. Sometimes a woman might experience female ejaculation, which is a woman's version of male ejaculation. This sometimes, but not always, accompanies an orgasm. This female ejaculate is produced and released from the Skene's glands, which is the female equivalent of the male prostate, and is similar in composition to semen. This fluid is a bit thicker and sometimes clear or creamy looking. It is odorless and tastes a bit sweet. The Greek gods called it the nectar of the gods, and I have to say, they were onto something, because an orgasm can feel so heavenly. The thing is, female ejaculate is released by the Skene glands. However, it can happen with or without orgasm, as I mentioned. Every woman is different, so if you don't notice this fluid, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. Female ejaculate does not determine orgasm, and I will say that neither does squirting. So, let me touch upon squirting next. You may have seen porn videos that show women squirting across the room, and more likely than not, that is forced urination. Squirting often occurs in trickles or gushes, and this fluid comes partly from the bladder, but it is not exactly pee. It is, however, partially urine that is watered down with other vaginal fluids that trickle, gush, or fountain out during penetration or stimulation from fingers or penetration in the vagina. Some women might even experience squirting from tapping the clitoris externally when aroused. Every woman is different and a beautiful puzzle to be figured out. Squirting can contain female ejaculate, but it doesn't always, and although they can occur together, they don't always. Just as female ejaculation does not always occur with orgasm, squirting is also not synonymous with orgasm, and a woman can squirt but not have an orgasm, so pay attention. If your lady squirts, you can't say mission accomplished because many women will squirt but will not orgasm at the same time. Squirting does feel great, so be happy it happened, but remember that it is not over until the satisfied lady sings. Well, all of this talk of fluids and squirting is making me thirsty, and that leads me to hydration. It is so important for everyone, men and women, to get enough hydration throughout the day for best blood flow and fluid flow and production, so be sure to hydrate yourself. Experts recommend drinking half of your body weight in ounces per day for proper hydration. This is key to make sure your blood volume is normal so that all of your bodily functions will run smoothly at all times. If you are feeling thirsty, you are already dehydrated. So remember, if you are drinking alcohol, it is very important to drink water also to be sure to stay hydrated. This leads me to the sexual act itself. As I said before, it takes women at least 25 minutes to reach orgasm with coupled sex, and sometimes if a fan is blowing or there is a lot of friction, the bodily fluids that are produced can easily dry out and evaporate. So, consider using a store-bought lubricant that will help to get that smooth sliding to occur with penetration. Lube is also amazing to use externally to stimulate the woman's clitoris and vulva, so give her a nice and juicy hand massage. There are so many lubes on the market, and I recommend experimenting with several until you find what works for you and your partner. I personally like coconut oil as a lubricant alternative because it tastes and smells delicious and works great internally and externally. One more thing that I definitely recommend if you are a squirter is a good heavy-duty mattress pad because squirting can be a bit messy, but it is so worth it in my opinion. Sex can be a messy affair, but the sooner you embrace and accept that fact, the more fun and satisfaction you will have. Ladies, only you can know what you are feeling when you are in the moment, so speak up if chafing or pain occurs. Sometimes a little lube is all you need, both internally and externally, and on the penis as well, to get that right amount of lubrication to continue enjoying the moment. Call for a lube break or keep it within arm's reach so you can easily apply more as needed to keep that delicious exploration going. And that leads me to the big O. Since there are so many things at play with a woman and her pleasure, I recommend telling your partner how you are feeling. Tell your partner what feels good and what doesn't. Share with them when you are feeling the right feeling and direct them to pleasure you. And they should do the same for you. Just because you see female cum or squirting, that doesn't mean your lady orgasmed. So ladies, be sure to communicate that with your partners. And if you do have an orgasm, make sure you let your partner know. Our partners want to satisfy us, and keeping our mouths shut can inhibit that satisfaction from happening. Communication is everything in relationships, and during sexual experiences, it is paramount. And remember, if your partner comes first, that doesn't mean that the event is over. Grab those toys and hand one to your partner and have them help you get your big O. Please never lie and tell your partner that you orgasmed when you didn't. Orgasms are not the only reason to have sex because it all feels good, but lying will only solidify in your partner's mind that what they did was what they should do again. So if you want to reach that sexual liberation, you must speak up and be honest. I hope that these insights will help you on your personal journey to sexual liberation. If gentlemen, you are unable to get erect in order to penetrate your partner, or ladies, you are experiencing vaginal dryness or decreased vaginal sensitivity, these conditions are treatable. I am a licensed pelvic floor physical therapist, and I treat conditions such as erectile dysfunction and decreased vaginal sensitivity and dryness. If you can relate, be sure to go to pleaseme.online and contact me there. I will be happy to begin that conversation with you and get on the road to slippery times ahead. If any of what I said today resonated with you, please go to Apple Podcasts and show me some 5-star love. You can also view my website on pleaseme.online and support the show. Once again, thank you for joining me on another episode of Please Me, where I aim to empower intimate conversations and turn the sheets into our sexy classroom. One last thing, I hope that this podcast finds its way around the world, and I am so excited that it already is. I have listeners in the USA, of course, and hey guys, I want to thank all those listeners in the USA, Canada, Europe, Asia, South America, Australia who have tuned in. It is so exciting, and don't forget to share it with your friends and your partner. Sharing is caring after all. Until next time.